Always a pleasure to sit in this room and talk about a very different project each time.
Thank you.
This is great because, you know, when you're a voice talent, it's such an opportunity to use your voice in so many different ways. It's an acting exercise like no other. I could hardly recognize your Benedict real life tone.
Good. Well, that's very good. I'm happy about that.
What was the challenge for you, or what was the pleasure of doing it?
Challenge is the usual one of doing this kind of work. It's over a long period of time with 2-month gaps between each session, and you're not with anyone else, you're not with any other actors, although he does spend a lot of time on his own, so that was actually sometimes helpful. But you don't have any environment or things to work off. Sometimes you get a bit of an illustration or an early artist's impression of where the animation might go, of a sequence or of a character in this case, and you can work a bit from that, but mainly you're relying on a director. But thankfully I had Scott, and he's phenomenal, and a friend and someone who's just really good time, really good fun to spend time with. So the beginning of our sessions would always be a sometimes overlong catch-up, and we'd be laughing before we were working, so it's a very good environment to go into being the Grinch in, and it's such good material that, you know, any kind of weirdness or different way of working, it was just something to relish, to be honest.
What's really great about the whole Dr. Seuss world is that the illustrations are as important as the writing, and it's just the imagination of a child.
Yes, the rhythms, that joy of language making sense by joining up sounds is very, very important to the way he created these extraordinary, fantastical but very relatable worlds and parallel worlds and parables within those worlds in order to draw children into early reading. So I hope this as a film will spur people to go and invest in, you know, the books themselves again and have another resurgence, because I think he's very completely there in our culture, and this story, rather like Dickens's Christmas Carol, carries a wonderful fable for this time of year, which is about the true meaning of Christmas, having the ability to transform those who otherwise are on the periphery of our society and exist in hate and misunderstanding. And that's a very important message to carry out, that, you know, to love and goodness, the things we need most.
Yeah, absolutely.
Boy, do we need that at the moment. So it's not a bad thing to say at the end of a film.
Yeah, and it's always, you know, beautiful to use the magic of cinema to translate
absolutely
these kinds of things.
And there's a lot of joy and hilarity along the way. It's not all profound messaging. It's packaged in a very delightful way, and my goodness, what they can do is just now extraordinary. And again, because it's over a 2-year duration, you see the animation getting richer and richer. When you see a sequence, it just gets layered and layered and layered. And when, you know, with the final kind of colouring and toning and the final effects are added, it's just transformative. It feels like you're watching things in 3D without specs. It just comes right off the screen. It's amazing.
Every single hair on his head.
Yeah,
basically.
I mean, and this is just a still, but that's just a tiny taster. This is a world that's, again, I mean, I can say this safely because it's an evolving art form. Every year there's a new technology to play with, so it's assimilated into the craftsmanship of these extraordinary men and women who create these worlds. And this is going to be the greatest animation to date because of that, you know, because it's the next one out of the box.
We spoke about this in the Marvel universe. Animation films are so huge. They always do like the biggest box office weekends, basically. What do you think makes them so enduring and so popular with audiences?
You know, massively the source material. I mean, what this is about, I think, is hugely important in this instance. But I think what they do brilliantly, Illumination, is they take in an entire audience. It's not just the children, it's also the parents and grandparents and family and friends who go with the children. It takes us all in. It takes us all on a riotous journey, and there's something for everyone. And there's so much detail and wit in these stories that they then, by nature, become incredibly diverse and inclusive and, you know, universal. And I think if we're to give our children, you know, good entertainment that's got some spiritual or moral nourishment in it, then what better way than through this kind of work, through animation.
This green cuteness.
Exactly. Yes, he is. Even though he's frowning, he's quite cute. I like his little doink, the little top.
Everything about him.
It's great.
And I brought in my 10-year-old niece, and she was very enchanted by the whole work.
Good.
It's always good to see it
target
through their
audience,
eyes.
child-wise. That's a kind of perfect age. So cool. I'm very glad you liked it.